Blame It on Vanity by Denice, Vanity Matthews. This is chapter 24, In Jesus' Name Only. However, now I speak sincerely when I say that numerous times it was witnessed that strange footsteps were heard running up and down the walls, yet no man lived above or beneath me. Someone or something had made their dwelling place inside my walls. I had been choked as well as slithered upon. My breath was earnestly sucked out of my throat countless times, while objects were hurled across the room for no apparent reason. Incidentally, I saw no arms or hands attached to the throw. It was obvious that because of all my drug use, I had opened up myself to the demonic. Most absurd if one has never witnessed such things. However, I unquestionably had many that ran from my home, having been paralyzed and petrified victims without the usage of drugs. Nonetheless, Jesus being God, being empathetically and all present enough to holler down at me, "You're going the wrong way," could have, but my ears were cemented. I, that girl, the silly little woman laden with sin, was ever not knowing and killing off the good that laid before her. Where was I going? Had I forgotten the childhood torment that made me once to flee? Skedaddle the queen bee has shed her shack. However, with many decades left to make a billion flawless mistakes, would I venture continuous to throw my body to the wolves, only to produce a few subliminal self-serving headlines? I hardly responded to pure joy and sunshine, having had no sleep from the countless nights before, and as you suspect, because of all the partying, alone. I kept myself secluded, hid away in my dark space. I feared my own shadows. I played the fool, doomed to explode my heart. I was underdetermined whether I wanted to live or die in my sweaty hole of existence. Back then, all my canvases that I had painted were blasting with color, nailed to my walls, and all of them sold one by one, disappearing out my door. All my bouncing ideas, cunningly impulsive and positively pornographic, were obviously deceptive. Those surrounding me yielded to my idolatrous makeover, but let us not eliminate those craving to disappear down the corridor with my vain attire of contempt. I kept no journal or daily diary to log in my foggy whereabouts. All the while, my Bible lay closed, stuck in place with all the answers collecting dust. Still, I was untamed and passionate, crying out for more of life. I was a waste of precious time, sucking in all my man-made compelling glory. Of course, my road, although appearing glamorously lovely with a closer look, was slippery, busted up, and cracked in bitty pieces. My red velvet carpet seemed to be paved with hot lava and creamed over with icing. How ugly or beautiful it was, blended well with all the propaganda, forthcoming lies I lived, and the beauty on the magazine cover splashing in your face only made the offense to glamorously disappear. The temperature gauge positively read the penthouse was icy cold. However, my forehead was dripping sweat due to the drugs freely frolicking through my body. I was nauseous and my brain was wrapped in tightness. I was sinking in darkness, stuck at the fork in the road, which only offered me a double dead end. One way led to the dope man and the other to suicide. I was paranoid in every lifeless corner. After I had crawled myself up to the top of the hill and seen nothing, it was now time to conquer the mountain beside it and accomplish less than nothing, but I was well out of breath from my lips having neatly wrapped themselves around a small round pipe. I was sucking the end of a stem, which oozed the smoke strenuously down my throat. All my years of flying abroad, crossing the seas, and all the rolling hills only helped to slim my bank account. As such, it kept me sleepless, agonizing over the what-ifs. One day just rolled into the next. A call to the dealer, a nervous pace of waiting, tapping toes and mouth speeding, forth bouts of what I might be missing under my schedule, a little rock that is, and what I could possibly push into the next day. There sat my poor little album, shoved up against Marilyn Monroe and Judy Garland, beautifully pointing out their snake pits, begging me not to follow the yellow brick roadway. Diamonds, though brilliant, can't compare to Heaven's Gate. It was quite a new twist for my twisted reality. I was very worn out at this innovative game of Hollywood, daring to do everything and caring for nothing. Over there, my Bible's still lying on its back, begging to be read. And so, unawed from the clock gathering another year gone by, Nat King Cole played soothingly in the backdrop of my dark, mysterious living room, furnished in black lacquer, and the only one in my peripheral vision was Mr. Snowman. There he stood with his crystal white powder glistening frostily, a strange, pungent fume creeping up my nostrils. He was looking for a place to pee badly before escaping sneakily down the stairwell, truly paranoid and steadily trying to retrieve his echo. I pushed my heart to the hyper-accelerator and pure adrenaline rushed through my body. I felt like Superwoman flying the globe in one straight shot. I recalled my sweaty mitts having purchased a small pebble to lose me for 24 hours. It was cold, I was hot, and I was hooked. I raised the bar and took another hit. I'd rip off my dress, and then again I'd redress myself. I just couldn't make up my sick mind. It was freezing, I was burning up, in every way waiting for my next hit to kick it. Rest only when you're dead. Read the imaginary bold dictum across my colorful Tower Records billboard. It was gigantic and positively picturesque, coveting and unwavering. It glared down at me daringly, and so my mouth spoke my lies blurry-eyed. Could I really stop this frightfully mad, unorganized mess I had fallen for at any time? No, for I was somewhat feeling rather obsolete, simply inhuman, with no precious wisdom or counselors to feed me back my strength. I had temporarily lost my taste buds, consequently, no doubt from my many kissing scenes having slithered into a stranger's mouth. Possibly, but as they say, that's a wrap. Blame it on vanity or the movies, or perhaps it was a dope. All my pretty trinkets, elegant clothes, and my hundreds pairs of strange stilettos didn't concern themselves if I was happy or cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. I had grown dull of hearing and rather senseless, lacking in penitence. Was it safer to be fond of the dangerous people? Was I wasting myself on shallow questions such as, "Tell me, Miss Vanity, what is your favorite color?" Surely an ingenious way of wasting precious time, and I with diminutive time to give to that marvelous, monotonous, mind-blowing experience. I was dying. I was pressed for time and desperate for wisdom, knowledge, and sanity. So what had I appreciated about this man and remade pompous, portentous creature I had become? Peter Piper picked me off a limb of bright red tomatoes and turned me into slush. I was sold to the highest bidder, living for the applause and exaltation. I walked away with contracts longer than Texas and promises smaller than Rhode Island. It was common practice to steal or be stolen from. Naturally, they said, lips parted with a smile. My mouth spoke back to me wickedly, deceivingly, convincingly, repeating, "It's hard to be good and better to be grand. Bravo." So where was my beginning and what be of my end? Who might I have spoken my innermost passionate personal insecurities to? You? Action Jackson threw me in the hospital and warned me to get clean. It lasted 30 days and I was back in the saddle again. My body felt so good at the time and I let my demons convince me that the next hit would make me feel better. It was uncontrollable, unreliable, that to myself. The Bible says that when the devil sees a house swept and clean, your temple, he withdraws to seek out 7 greater devils to come back and destroy you. I was sure someone had stolen my breath, for it seeped through the crack under my door, slithered down the stairwell, and buried itself in the backyard 6 feet under. The devil was calling me to the grave, and my body's reply was grieving, reaching, grasping, and grasping but for more of the same. I believed death would be my only solace for the empty life I'd created. I continued to scribble out senseless, inquisitive adjectives over many musical notes. I was bent on killing off the purest form of the English language with sexual innuendos. Conjunction, junction, so what's my function? Hooking up subjects and phrases and clauses? All of my film work was stuck on a shelf, and I lay curled up and paranoid on my big black couch. I fought the problem by ignoring the problem. I was unrelenting, unreasonably lost, and suffocating in dumbfoundedness. I further sought pleasure in a small round glass bottle full of vitriolic venom which slid me into depression beyond blockades. I was thoroughly engulfed in what should be an ocean of dreams, with the whole kingdom be set before me. However, my ocean thrust me against the rocks and ripped my sour soul in two, thus giving my upper half to the tornado, and with my lower I lowered myself to the likeness of a squatting dog, dare I say, sucking up his own vomit. The doctor said, your kidneys are bleeding, Vanity. Disgusted with myself without the help of killing myself, because although I sought to eradicate myself, viciously couldn't accomplish the task within my wretched self. And now, having been then, slid into my vainest attire and scampered to crash any merry-making festivity, to continue with those that continued to dance themselves inane. Why? Because that was how it was done on the wilder side of that dark terrain. I was celebrating, once again, a cavalcade of slivering, pretty, peculiar, pressing their way to the heart of a dance floor on Sunset Boulevard. Once again, a cavalcade of slithering, pretty, peculiars, pressing their way to the heart of a dance floor on Sunset Boulevard. After I carefully unstuck and flipped my hair from north to south, that took a lot of thought, I smiled demurely and tightened my garb to the next choke. I walked confidently, totally securing the eyes that beheld my bare skin, and the whisperers whispered behind their fingers, "Is that really her?" I had brought myself to celebrate the filthiest vulgarity of dialogues gone rotten. Behold, now your eyes and see packs of lonely souls twisting in the dark, souls without a comforter, really looking for love and genuinely lost. This is actually chapter 24, 25, 26, and 27. Because the next chapter is chapter 28. I see that she didn't label those other chapters. So this is chapter 24 through chapter 27. Again, it's not labeled, but the next chapter is chapter 28. So I just see that she forgot to label the other chapters. This book has a lot of grammatical errors, but I'm not judging or criticizing. I really wanted to hear her story. So even though that can be looked at as unprofessional, like I'm not even mad. I wanted to hear her story. So that was chapters 24 through 27.